Hey there folks, today I am so excited to introduce you to one of my new best friends, Chris from Belmuse Mandolins in the UK. I was named a Belmuse Mandolins artist not too long ago, and I am so excited to represent this fine brand of handcrafted electric mandolins. Some of you might be wondering, okay Hayes, we know you play a bit of mandolin, what's the deal with this electric mandolin thing? Well, if we go back to the early days of my YouTube channel, electric mandolin was pretty much my focus at the time that I started to seriously push my YouTube channel here. Right before the pandemic, I had given my notice at my last desk job and really wanted to invest all of my time and effort into online education, putting out YouTube videos weekly and then having a membership service, kind of like I do today. Good job, Hayes. During that period in time, I completely fell in love with the electric mandolin, the playing of Tiny Moore. I got really inside of his style, did 42 transcriptions during the pandemic of Tiny Moore solos, and the electric mandolin has actually kind of become like a close part of my identity right now, I would say. Fast forward a couple years, me and my buddy Jonathan Raphael from down in Brazil were having a chat, and I got to meet Pete Mallinson and Chris from Belmuse. Chris had kind of partnered just recently with Pete Mallinson to bring us the Belmuse brand. About a year after that conversation, Chris and I had been messaging back and forth on Facebook a little bit, and he sent me this message kind of out of the blue one day asking me if I wanted to be the second Belmuse artist. I knew that he had been working with Aaron and Grace Bond from When Rivers Meet, a great British blues rock band. I was a little floored that Chris wanted to reach out to an American bluegrass and country picker like me to represent the brand, but I'm so glad he did because I have completely fallen in love with this instrument. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the interview with Chris. We're going to pick up the interview straight at the beginning, right where Chris started to tell me how he got into building and creating some of the greatest electric mandolins that the world's ever seen. All talked about, but I figured it would be cool for you to just kind of like run me through some of the history of like you personally. What's your musical background? How did you get into building?
Started playing guitar at 10. I've grown up on my dad's vinyl collection, which is Hendrix, Stones, Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Clapton. So you got all that stuff going off. So I'm going to play. You know, it's just, that's a given, I think. I got my first electric, which would have been quite a good Ibanez. I think I did pretty well, straight in with a well-built instrument, especially now as a luthier, looking back. Those early Ibanez instruments, I think they must have been loss leaders because they were just fantastic builds. So yeah, £100 UK. You know, it had the two humbuckers. I wanted to put a third one in the middle. I can't afford to pay someone to do that because I'm doing my paper round. So I ain't got, you know. So I get a chisel and I start cutting it out. Discovered I'm not too bad at it. I think I routed out for a tremolo in the back, and I killed it. But it's just, you just went from there. It's like if you can't afford to pay someone, you learn how to do it. Yeah, I've got a feeling with wood. I obviously clearly I'm good with wood. I've played and gigged right up into my mid-20s until we had the kids. But career-wise, I stayed away from it. 8 years ago, I started building guitars again and trying to do repairs and setups, and it's a incredibly saturated market. I mean, just based it on, you look at the Facebook groups alone in the UK, there's 2,000 members. So let's say that's 2,000 other luthiers, and we're not a big country. Let's say 10% of them are quite good. I'm in that top 10%. That's still a lot of guys. That's 200 guys I'm competing with that are as good as me or better. And it's like, you know, I'm getting 4 or 5 high-end commissions a year, which is like, it's too much to give up. I know this is going well. I'm building some beautiful instruments, but I ain't putting bread and food on the table week in, week out. I managed that for about 5 years, just not getting the financial reward. In terms of the satisfaction of seeing guys playing my instruments, amazing, loving it. And I'm loving what I do, and I'm learning my trade or fine-tuning it.
I think one of the most interesting things to me that I wanted to know was like, how did the world of electric mandolin come calling you?
As part of the process, I'm painting. I'm spraying nitrocellulose. Pete from Belmuse contacted me and wanted me to spray one of his mandolins. So I did. And it was like a little mini guitar, which blew my mind. It's like, it's not a mandolin, it's just a 8-string or a 4-string mini guitar. So it's everything I know and understand, just scaled down. So I kind of like that. This relationship went on for a year or so, and then he just dropped it on me that he's having to retire, and he wanted to know if I was interested in taking over. At the time, business was sort of sliding, so I'm like, I'll give it a go. I don't believe it's the thing for me, but it is everything I know and everything I'm familiar with. Just scaled down. So because I built 4 or 5 good Les Paul replicas. So the first mandolin I built was a Les Paul because that's what I know. Beautiful carved top, binding, 4-degree neck angle, trapezoid inlays, all the stuff. Beautiful flame maple book match top. And I put it on my website on Friday, I think, and it sold Saturday for like more money than I used to get for my Les Paul guitars. The guy paid for it. That was going over to Germany, and I was just so stunned by this, I left the product on the website. So Monday, Tuesday, someone else buys it. I haven't got it, it's sold. So I had to contact this guy and say, like, we'll build you one. It will be a custom order, especially for you. I can do it in a month. You know, I can't apologize enough. I'll chuck in a free case. So there, within 3-4 days, I decided that is my future. And we're on like 115 now. So, you know, that's 115 instruments out there in 3 years. So that's only 50 a year. But it's been like that.
Like, first off, you know, to anyone watching this video, this is one of the most, like, amazing handcrafted instruments that I've ever owned. You know what I mean? Like just the attention to detail and the shaping. It's just like the most comfortable thing I've ever played. So to have cranked that many out in such a short period of time, like there are multiple luthiers that I know personally that have been at this for 40 years and they're just now cracking 300. Yeah, you know what I mean? Okay. So it's like you've been working, buddy. You know,
I've been working, but I've fine-tuned a method, working out a faster and more efficient way I can offer better value for money. But for me, technically, that is the best layout bridge. Separate bridge, separate tailpiece. You can put a neck angle in. That's the way. I mean, I just love that. It's just Gibson got it right. Let's stick with it. But Fender was more of a money man, and he figured out that if we just put a no neck angle and we put a flat bridge on, we can build 5 of these in the time it takes to build one of those. I am building these by hand. So the time involved in that is going to be tenfold to the time involved flat Strat style bass plate.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying the Strat bass plate is better, but I've got to run a business. I've got to think about hours involved. So we put the bass, we make a flat neck break angle, and we put it like that. And that means I can get them out the door quicker. Everyone's happy.
That's awesome, man. You can get more of your instruments in more people's hands and they're going to be shredding that much quicker, you know?
Yeah. I also found I built many a bolt neck. I mean, the first instruments I built would have been bolt neck. And you cut your neck pocket, and then you got to cut your neck, and then you got to line them up. And you spend a lot of time lining up. Now, if you get that alignment out, it might only be half a degree, but when you come down to this end, you're off center, and it's like, damn. Just build a through neck and it's all in line. You don't even have to draw pencil lines because the lines are already here.
they're in there.
yeah. It's just all these little things just seem so. I just found my spot, and because no one else is doing it in the mandolin market. This one's only a 3-piece down the neck. You've got 5 within your neck there, but it's like in terms of if I'm going to send this literally halfway around the planet, I want to know it's going to last. And if you've got a multi-laminate neck where you've got opposing grains, the chances of that moving, it's not going to. It's just not going to. It's just a better build. So I've got more chance of the customer being happy and it lasting and outliving me and you. You know, these instruments are going to be around. Again, this style bridge is going to last. And if it doesn't last, just swap some saddles out at 99 cents on eBay. Do you know what I mean? Whereas
exactly.
Is it going to last forever? The Gibson ones don't. They collapse after 30 years, you know, bridge-wise. So it's just an overall product that I've fine-tuned and chipped away. And I find it easier to carve that neck than to make a mortise and tenon joint for a bolt on. It's a mixture of what's good and what works for me so I can do them quick and get as many out there. I like a lot of variants, whereas the boy, he just likes to get stuck in. What am I doing today, Dad? Wind pickup. So he'll spend the whole day just winding these pickups. And that's what he likes. He likes that repetitiveness. He just puts his headphones on and he sits there spinning 5,000 winds of this wire onto these things here. He also does my laser cutting for me. So, well, you've got a humbucker there. You can see it, but
yeah,
there's just no way you can cut wood out this accurately. Old school methods. You either need a stamp, which is what the way Fender went with stamps, or nowadays you laser cut. So he does that for me. He also laser cuts the put that on a white background there, just the rear cover, rear cabinet. There you go. Rear cabinet.
You mean like this one that says custom built for Hayes Griffin?
That might be the one. That might be one of ours. I remember that one. So yeah, the boys brought a little bit of technology to the game. So that's what the boys brought to it. So it was, one day I'll be doing pickups. The next day, like today, we've got 10 rosewood fingerboard blank. He slots them and then put them down like that. And he'll run a router on a sled, which puts the 12-inch the radius.
Yeah.
Router on a sled over that way. And then it comes down to just sheer hard work where I'll put 40 grit on a StewMac radius beam. And as I'm finding, as I'm getting older, I dislike that more and more. It takes me longer to recover. I get the burn in my elbow sooner and sooner.
Yeah.
So I know, whereas the boy at 20, there's no stopping him. He's done 5 of these today. He's 20 years old, and just as soon as he passes his driving test and he's started lessons, he'll be gone. So I'm like, boy, I want a stack of these. Before you go, I want to see that cupboard full of them. Pickups is monotony. But it's not a physical drag. But I do find those quite hard. He does my fret levels. So once we get to this stage, we press them in first. So after the boy finishes radiusing them, I'll cut out the taper, we'll dot them and then fret them, clamp them up, and then we shape the instrument. And once the instrument's shaped, do the fret levels and dressing. Again, I find that quite physically demanding. So the boy does them. I do final checks on everything. We'll finish it. It's passed. I'm happy. It goes on the wall. 3 months later, customer places the order on the website. I get it off the wall and I will play it. And it will be my reach go-to. And I will make sure that instrument, I'm happy with it. Every time I just do a little bit, I'll make sure there's no Fretbuzz. A lot of budget guitars, there's a lot of things that's right, but the final setups, nut slot depths and frets.
Yep. Dude, this thing is like, I haven't touched this once, by the way, since I got it. Like everything was perfect. Not a single bit of Fretbuzz. Even the thing you mentioned about like Chinese instruments. Yep. The first time I played one of those, man, it was like razor blades touching my fingers as I was running up and down, like the fret edges. Everything is perfect about this when it comes to the fingerboard. It just feels great to play. And it's like not that much more expensive than one of those gold tone mandolins. I'm kind of getting into like promo mode here, but like, people, buy one of these things. This is like, it's a no-brainer.
It's a stock instrument. This one's on the website for about £1,200 because it's a hard build. It's got a set neck. It's got a break angle. It's got a tom style bridge. It's just a chambered body. It's just a lot of work. Some of my custom builds that go out at £2,500. They all have a part of me in them. I don't want it out there if it isn't right. I watched the video of the Fuzzbox demo you sent me a link to earlier on. I watched that a couple of days ago, maybe yesterday, and I stopped it. I'm like, Luke, my lad, look. We put it on again, and he's like, no, I've never seen anybody go past that fret on a mandolin. I'm like, no, man, they don't, because they don't do it. Shredder.
That's great, dude.
We do.
Yeah, I'm flattered. Thank you. It does me proud to like play this thing and see you guys get excited by that. You know what I mean? Like that's fun, man.
We were very excited. I mean, mate, it kind of obsessed me that really I can't play these things like I'd like to. When I finish a guitar, I'll plug it in and I'll just hold that note on the 15th fret. I'll bend it up and it'll feed back and the room's shaking. I'm just holding it. Now, when I finish a mandolin, I play my 3 chords and then I'll do scales all the way up the neck, just checking every fret. But I ain't making it sing. My heart's not going into it. To hear you play it the way I wish I could, it's wonderful.
That's beautiful, man. That fills my sails,
In terms of the shop and the layout, we keep a stock of 11. We float between 11 and 15 instruments, mandolins, E-mandos. I say it to guys that come over, and it's like, I don't know, where else could you come and see a dozen electric E-mandos all in one place? But no, I don't think anywhere in the UK. I'm sure of that.
Man, I don't want to say nowhere in the United States, but like less than 5 places in the United States that you could see something like that. I've only ever had my hands on less than 10 electric mandolins total. in my life. They're just rare, you know, so that's kind of awesome. I think I need to get over there.
Well, yeah, well, goes out, man. That's what I think about it. This one, you can see it. Again, this was in my first batch of builds. Never sold, possibly because of the price tag. But at the time I came from guitar building, relicking and what's classed as non-plasticized lacquer. That's the ones, the lacquer that we used in the 50s before plastics came in. When I finished it, it came out the spray booth. It went into our chest freezer. And then I take it out the freezer and hit it with a hairdryer, and the lacquer just goes and cracks and looks like it's 50 years old. Turns out you mandolin guys, you don't care. It's not in the slightest. It's just not in.
I love it, man, because, like, I mean, I'm even from the guitar world, and I was always like, man, like, I want that guitar, but, like, how much of that price tag is, like, some guy hitting it with chains, you know, for, like, a couple hours?
It's a thing, isn't it?
There is part of me that when I'm thinking about, like, buying a cool-looking 59 Les Paul replica, I want it to be that way. But if I'm going for E-Mando, it's like, there was no such thing as a 59 Les Paul E-Mando.
Right.
You know right. What I mean?
What am I? I'm replicating nothing, am I? I'm just making my...
Can you tell me more about that LP that's in front of you? Because I think I looked at that one on the site, and does it have like a spruce top on it or something like that?
Yeah. It's book match spruce. It's also chambered, so you got hollow chambers here, and obviously I've got chamber here. So it's really resonant. Like, acoustically, it's just got something stand out about it. I love spraying a burst. It's almost something that puts my mark on an instrument, and I'll take my time. Like here, I'll do the red first, and then I'll do the black, and the black will be slightly translucent, so it comes out of brown because it's got the red underneath. And I love doing that. And then when I finish that, I enjoy spraying a burst so much, I'll turn around and I'll do another. So you got your one burst, and then I'll do a third one on the back of the neck here, and I'm still enjoying it. I'll do a fourth one on the back of the headstock there, because it's just something I love doing. And like I said, because I don't play these, it's the paint process that I can still get passionate about. Obviously, I enjoy the woodwork. I enjoy it all. I don't enjoy radius and fretboards, but you know, in the bigger scheme, I do it all. But I do like the paint. When it comes to paint day, I am like a kid skipping into work because it's
like getting your spray can ready and all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah,
I don't know whether a younger generation see the burst as like a bit old school and a bit the opposite to contemporary, which is why with the Wildwoods I've kept it with more contemporary.
I'll say that I mean, I don't know if that I can claim to represent like younger interests or anything like that these days, but I will say I'm a sucker for a good like natural like kind of wood finish, and I love what you've done with the striping on the neck. It almost doesn't need finish work on it because the raw material that you work with is so beautiful. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about the Wildwood stuff. But at the same time, you know, for a Les Paul, the quintessential thing is the burst to me. But for an RG style instrument, you know,
it is, isn't it? I can't deny it. It's an RG style. But when you've got wood that looks like this, like you say, there's no need to paint.
So one thing that I noticed that I wanted to talk about a little bit was the fact that you don't just do like mandolins, you do like mandolin family instruments, right? So you'll do octave mandolins, like mandolas, 5-string electric mandolins, that kind of thing, right? So can you talk about that a bit?
Okay, guys come over, they've learned on an 8, they'll come here because they know they can try several things out. And they'll come, and the first thing they'll do is, oh man, I've always wanted to try a 5. They'll try the 5, but they'll buy the 4. But they just want to tick that box. You know what I mean? They've learned on an 8, so that you know they're going to buy a 4, but they always wondered why the 5's late. So knock yourself out. You know, that's fine. But I mean, once in a while, someone will actually go for it, but they tend to know. They know they've come for a 5 and up.
Absolutely. The only reason I built mine as a 5 initially was because the guy whose style I was trying to emulate, he played a 5. He was known for playing a 5. Tiny Moore. I don't know if you've ever heard of
I'm well familiar with the name. Hayes, I'm sure over our time of our relationship, you'll educate me a little bit.
Absolutely. Oh, baby. There's plenty of time for that. And during COVID, I did, 42 transcriptions of Tiny Moore licks. So I've got some tabs for you, man.
You'll be the guy that's forced me to take time off from building to start learning. Perhaps
well, we'll find you a new
time,
apprentice or something. You know what I mean? Let him take the shop for a little while. You know.
So what I'm saying, 13 and 7/8. The 5 are 14 and a half now. Then we jump up, and then we've done mandolas or octave mandolins from, I think we started at 18, and then we've done 19, we've done 20s, 21, 21 and a half, 22.75. Where's that 75 come from? Just have a 23 or 22. But they order it, I build it. As far as stock goes, I've settled on a 20. If someone wants to buy a mandola from my stock, it will be a 20.
Gotcha.
We're building at 20.
I think there's even some confusion over on this side of the pond too, with regards to those terms, because I had some guys, I would put some of those Tiny Moore videos out where I made his licks, and I was like, check out this video I made for electric mandolin, and I would get so much hate in the comments section. They were like, it's not a mandolin, it's a mandola with a high E string, you know, and they would get like, oh, and I was just like, I'm just playing this thing with strings on it. Do you want to watch it or not? You know.
And I guess you've got an old school purist kind of audience there. Yeah.
Oh, and even when I play the 4, they're like, not a mandolin. A mandolin has 8 strings, Hayes. You know, you'll get like all sort of rules for what is and isn't a mandolin or a mandola or an octave mandolin. You know?
Yeah. Another one in there. It's like I posted got commissioned to do a 21-inch 4-string. Posted it in a group. They're like, wrong group. Oh, that's not a mandola. That's a tenor guitar. Like, well, is it really? Does it matter? It's tuned like. It's a funny market. It's a strange market, the mandolin thing. It's been good to me, and I'm not knocking it. We've just, in the last maybe 6 months, started selling individual pickups. Why? Because Pete retired. I mean, when I took over from Pete, for the first year, he carried on building the pickups. Every time I get an order, the order would work. Pete would still be making the pickups. Now, he's fully retired now. I've had to learn how to wind pickups. I did not enjoy that process. It's very thin wire. In fact, God damn, I'm 54 this year, and it's a long time since I've been pushed to the point of crying in just desperation and mental exhaustion. And once I think I wound. It took me nine failed attempts to get one pickup, and it's like I was just. Pete, just make, I know I never wanted to be building pickups. It's a lesson in patience. This stuff is so thin. It's thinner than a human hair. And you've got to put 5,000 winds on each coil. And of course, it will break at 4,500. And you've got to go cut it off, scrap it, go again. The reason we're selling them, I get people writing, I'd love one of your Mandos, but I can't afford it. What I would like is put one of your pickups in my Mando cast. Mando Bird, Epiphone Mando Bird's a common one, but whatever. So I figured, if we are forced to make more, I'm going to get better at it. It is just you keep doing it, you get better, you get quicker. I built an EM recently. It's just a flat top, book matched. I put it on the shop Friday, so Saturday. And I emailed the customer. It's the second one he's had off me. He says, you know what, Chris? He said, I've got a 58, a 59, a 63, a 60, something like that. It's got 4 real old school original EMs, and he still wants a Belmuse. Oh, wow. That's quite something. That's
a testament to your work. Absolutely.
I think so. And then, so I shipped it, and then I think come Friday, the guy hadn't mailed me to say he's received it. So over the weekend, I'm a bit nervous. It's just natural. Monday morning, I open my mail, and there's a mail from him. I see his name on the top of the mail, and I'm like, oh man, he's not got it. He's not got it. Do you know what it was? An order for another.
Awesome, Chris. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me here today, dude. I've learned a heck of a lot about the history of Belmuse and all that stuff, and it makes me all that much prouder to be a Belmuse artist. So thanks again for the great E-Mando and the great work you're doing. I'm going to do my best to make the E-Mando viral. You know what I'm saying?
Oh. Hey, the pleasure is all mine. I just thank you so much for taking a chance and with our brand and for flying the flag over there. I was very, very keen we get a guy involved stateside. I was choosy. There's a few opportunities came and I let him go. You're the guy to do it. I enjoy you playing whatever you're playing. The fact that you're playing one of ours, it's fantastic. Nothing makes me happy.
Yeah, well, cheers to that, man. Thanks so much, Chris. This won't be our last interview here on YouTube. We'll have you back sometime, all right? So be ready.
Take care, boo. All the best.
Alright, there you have it, folks. My interview with Chris over at Belmuse Mandolins. Like I've said a million times already, I am so proud and excited to be a Belmuse artist, and thanks again to Chris for joining me here on the channel today to let you folks know a little bit about that brand. If you're interested in checking out Belmuse Mandolins and the instruments that they have in stock, go ahead and check out the link below in the description. Also, Chris has a great YouTube channel and social media presence, so there are links down there for all of that stuff as well. If you enjoyed this video here today, go ahead and give us a like and a subscribe down there. And if you're interested in leveling up your music education, go ahead and check out that link below in the description to the Hayes Griffin Guitar Club. That's my premium membership service where you get access to live monthly calls with me where you can ask any of your questions. There's a whole video library with PDFs and downloads and all sorts of goodies to help you achieve your musical goals. Alright, my friends, thank you so much for checking this video out. Don't go anywhere though. We've got more great videos right here.